We're just going live this time. We're not doing the music. We're not doing the intro.
Oh, nothing. We're just hitting it.
No, we're just jumping in both feet. We're just going to hit it hard. Well, we're 2 minutes late, so I was like, I don't want to put it off more.
Yeah.
So we got to give people a minute to get in. But Christ is risen.
Christ, yes, indeed. He is risen. Yeah.
We're
definitely is.
Yeah, so we were just talking beforehand. I went to San Francisco this weekend with my wife. We had a lovely time. And I was able to go to the cathedral where St. John Maximovich is in repose and venerate his relics. It's a beautiful cathedral. It was a beautiful liturgy. It was a hierarchical liturgy. The bishop was there. So most of it was in Russian. He threw a little bit of English out there for us, like 2 or 3 of the prayers he did in both Russian and English. But most of it was in Russian, and that's fine.
It's a Russian church, like a Russian.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Rokor.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's it's what was I gonna say? Oh, once you've been to liturgy for a while, the pattern is pretty easy to recognize. You kind of know where you are. It was a little different because it was a hierarchical liturgy, which means there's more prayers and more hymns, so it's longer. It was like a 3-hour service, but it was beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else did you do there?
Went down to Fisherman's Wharf. We went on a tour of a World War II submarine. They had a great arcade that had some really cool machines from the early 1900s. There was this one coin operated. It was a whole model of a carnival. There was a guy who used to work in the carnival who was injured and had to retire, and so his retirement project was he built this mechanical carnival, and it was fantastic. And then they had a bunch of old video games and stuff in there. And then what else? I rode a bike across the Golden Gate Bridge. That was fun. We rode it there and back, and then had some great food. We went to a fantastic steakhouse. Great seafood, sourdough, right?
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
The San Francisco things. But
it was
nice. Weather was perfect. It's like 70, breezy.
Yeah.
So just really nice. Had a great time.
It's really warm here right now.
It's 93 here today. It's like 105 in this room where I'm doing this.
You turn your fan on. Turn your fan on.
The fan's on. The fan's on. But it's all good. It's part of the ascetic endeavor. We do it for the love over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 71 here right now. 71.
Yeah, it was 93 on my way home from work today. And like I said, it's about 105 out here in my trailer.
Oh,
so I was gonna pull up.
Don't you have a air conditioner in there? I thought you did.
Yeah, I haven't fired it up yet, so I didn't want today to be I also don't like to fire it up when it's really hot. Like I try to, if it's going to be hot, I try to turn it on earlier in the day because it's much easier to keep a temperature low than it is to bring a temperature down. So I'm trying to bring some of my old high school thermodynamics in there.
I actually fired up my wood stove today because I have had it off for about 10 days and it's hot today, but we've got floor heat and so it takes 24 hours to, actually heat, and it's going to start raining and it's going to go down to like 11 degrees Celsius in the daytime, colder at night. So I thought, let's fire up the stove again, warm up the house.
Yeah. There is this interesting time of year where you have to fire up the heater in the morning, and then in the evening you're turning on the air conditioner so you can get to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Because it hasn't cooled off enough.
Utah. Crazy.
Yeah, it's Utah. Yeah, I'll show you a couple pictures from the cathedral. Pretty fantastic. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then I think we'll go. Yeah. So this is St. George, and then below that's a sash from St. George.
Wow.
That's his sash. Yeah. So there's another
amazing
picture. And then that's St. John of Kronstadt.
Yeah.
And his belt, his garter. And there's a whole bunch of martyrs there, and there was a whole bunch of relics in that. That table is basically a reliquary with a bunch of relics in it.
Oh, okay.
And all of those saints are in the relics there.
Wow.
Yeah. So there were more relics than saints in that icon. There was a lot of relics in there.
Yeah.
So this is looking back up at that's the choir loft. So
Yeah.
this is looking at the back of the church.
Amazing, eh? Look at that iconography. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And this is like, I don't know, probably 40 feet, 45 feet high. So yeah, here's the sash. Yeah.
Very
St.
cool.
George's. Oh no, this is sorry. This is Holy Saint Czar Saint Nicholas II. This is his Cossack clothing.
Yeah.
This is his hood. Oh yeah, so this is I don't know who this is. This bell, I think it's Tsar Nicholas II, but he looks different here, so I don't know actually who this is.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure who that is because I don't read Russian. And this Saint Xenia, and then this is a brick from the church where she was carrying bricks up.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a brick from that church.
Very nice.
And then that's the cupola.
Wow. Look at that. Look at that, eh? Can you zoom in on the iconography around it? Wow. I just love
the Ancient of Days.
Mm. And the cherubim and the seraphim.
Yeah. And the throne around him.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a fantastic cathedral. It's just very beautiful.
Yeah. Very nice.
Let's see what else we got. Thought I had a couple others. Oh, this is the outside from across the street.
Yeah.
And then the doors, the front doors. Let us attend.
Yeah.
The doors, let us attend. Yeah, that was across the street as well. And then, so this is where St. John Maximovich is in repose. Okay. His relics are here. His incorruptible relics are there.
Wow.
And it's constantly streaming myrrh. So,
really?
Yeah. So anyone can get one bottle for free, and then each bottle after that is $2.
Wow. So did you get some?
I did.
Of course you did.
Yeah. So
I can't remember who it was, but it was an Orthodox saint. No, it was a myrrh streaming icon of the Theotokos. Michael Martin tells his story.
Oh, the one from Hawaii?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know where it was from, but a friend, this was many, many, many years ago when his kids were little and they're almost all grown. And he tells the story of how he heard that it was going to be at a nearby Orthodox church. He was in Detroit at the time. Oops. And so he went there and he got a little vial with a cotton swab of the myrrh that was streaming from it. And he said, to this day, it's not rancid. It smells as fresh as it was. And he said, in the whole in front of the church, there were just bottles and bottles, from the cyclone. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember because he tells two stories now, and I probably get them mixed up. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to talk about saints?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. I will do a prayer. Oh, I gotta light my candles first here. Hold on. I have a couple of candles in front of my icon. I've got some icons out here with me, and I like to light the candles in front of them before we get started.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move my fan a little bit here.
Welcome.
We're glad you're here. Welcome.
Bibliotekar Bison.
Granted, incorruptible might take a few thousand years to attest. Father John, some biz though. Thanks be to God. Wish we were doing that at Flannery O'Connor's, bearing writings as well. Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't understand the last part. Sorry.
Well, Flannery O'Connor is a writer.
Right.
I don't know exactly what that means. And his name, bibliothekar.
Yeah. Okay.
Librarian. I have a granddaughter who's doing an apprenticeship in Switzerland. She's not going to be a librarian. She's working in the archives of the most amazing library. Like, if I could show you, if I knew how to show pictures, I got to figure that out. Actually, my husband, before we do the saints, let me see if I can show you. My husband was at a, let me see here if I can open something. Sorry, just bear with me.
Sure.
He was at a museum in Switzerland, not too far from where he is. And I wonder if they're going to be here. Oh, maybe not. No, they're not here yet. Anyway, I'll just tell you about it. It was a Klungenmusik museum. So I was reminded of it when you were talking about what this carnival guy did, because it's these, the pianos with the rollers on them.
Yes. Yeah. Saw quite a few of those in that arcade I was telling you about.
Right. So, now I really want you to see this. I just have to let something load in my messages because it's just not loaded on the desktop yet.
Okay.
But anyway, it was all kinds of
Hi, Joy.
It was all kinds of different things like that. And one of them I'll tell you about. It was a piano that had the roller. And then there was doors on the top that you could open, and there were like 6 violins standing upright.
Wow.
And around them was bowstring in a circle. And then there were mechanical things that changed the notes on the violins. And the paper roll would go through, and the violins played and the piano played. And that was just a small one. There was one the size of a massive room that had flutes and, little drum sets and just
wow,
incredible stuff. Oh, it's not showing up here. It's not showing up in my messages.
Sherry, how often we return to writings as we pray to saints or composers or artists, sanctified works where we might not sanctify Rilke or Rumi or Bulgakov, but their co-creations.
Exactly.
But their co-creations sanctify so many of us.
Yeah, it's true. Not sure what you mean by sanctify, but there's a Protestant use of the word, and I don't think there's an Orthodox use of that word, really. Do they use the word sanctify?
Well, not
the same way.
Not
right?
the same way, right? Yeah.
Let me see here. Rublev, Tarkovsky, Bach, Holbein. Oh yeah, I know. It's amazing. We're so blessed. We're seriously blessed. Yeah.
There's a funny phrase I heard. It said, "When the devil it's an old Orthodox proverb, basically. It says, when the devil fell from heaven, he landed in the choir loft." And St. Augustine actually said, when he hears beautiful music in liturgy, he said it's really hard to discern whether he's enjoying it because of the spiritual beauty or because of his carnal attraction to it. He's just like, it's very hard to tell sometimes if he's enjoying it for the right reason, because it's like so close to heavenly, but it's sometimes hard to discern whether that's why you're enjoying it. He meant it as a compliment in a way, but also as a word of caution.
Oh, that too, yeah. But I mean, yeah, holying and holying, yes, and they do come from the same place. both of those words. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that true? Because holy means like
it does.
set apart, but it has that same. Is this one of those like convenient?
No,
etymologies?
It's actually go for it. You can do it. You got the etymology capabilities, my man.
It's a hobby of mine. I didn't show you. I got a new bookshelf in my house, and I have a place for my big unabridged dictionaries to be out and open, so they're much more accessible and usable.
Oh, there you go. And you got your magnifying glass.
Yep, I'm all about it. It's nice.
Whoops. I'm Googling.
I'll share it with you. This is the Webster's 1913, which is kind of my favorite compromise dictionary between modern and ancient, or classical, I should say. Whole, hal, from Old English, hail, which is well, sound, or healthy, akin to old. I don't know that one language. Heel, heil, hail.
Yeah.
Hell, whole.
And let me just say something here. The German heil is heel. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Well, and heel is whole, and then heel, Gothic, hails. Hail to greet, heal to cure, health, holy. Okay, you win. I was just checking, because there are times where, like, I heard this guy saying that, like, human and humble, and there was another one, that human and humble had the same root, and that they do not.
No. Okay, so here we go. Holy and WHOLLY, holy, are etymologically related through shared roots in Old English and Proto-Germanic that connect the concepts of spiritual purity, soundness, and completeness. Both words derive from a common ancestor signifying a state of being that is uninjured, undamaged, or whole, which you might also want to call virginal. Okay.
Or justice, like we learned last week.
Yeah, well, you can't.
I did more research on that, by the way.
Oh, cool. We can go into it. Yeah. And then holy, sacred, dedicated, derived from the Old English heilig, holy, consecrated, sacred, which stems from the Proto-Germanic heiligas, holy or bringing health, and WHOLLY, entirely, derives from the Old English hal, which is entire, uninjured, sound, healthy. And the common root traced back to the Proto-Indo-European root Kylo, meaning whole, uninjured, of good omen. So there you go.
Nice. Like Kylo Ren. Just kidding.
I don't know.
Star Wars. She was in Star Wars.
That must have been a Star Wars that came later. There is no Star Wars that comes later.
Correct. Yeah, it's kind of like The Matrix. There was a good movie, and then there was.
You know what? I went to Star Wars in the theater when it came out.
Hey, there you go.
I'm like an old, really old, like I should be in a museum, right? As one of the very first Star Wars.
I saw Empire Strikes Back, and I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, but I was not quite old enough to catch Star Wars.
I saw Jaws here too.
You saw what?
Jaws.
Now they showed they had a showing of Jaws at my local swimming pool, and they handed out inner tubes to everybody. So everyone was sitting in the inner tubes, and they had a screen, and they showed Jaws, and it was,
oh my gosh,
by far the best way to watch Jaws I've ever experienced. It was so fun.
Yeah, that's kind of like what Meister Eckhart talks about when he says, "Be the stone, be a stone." It's let me just read it. It's just take me a second here. This is the idea. It's like it's no problem. It's like the idea of here I am, Okay, that's how I would put it. It's to be who you really are, right? Anyway, I'll just read this really quick and then we can go. And where did it go? All right, here we go. Study the stone. Be yourself. I love it. That's how he starts it out. Be yourself, period. And if what this means is unclear to you, look around at the things of this earth. Study the stone, which always does what it was made to do. It doesn't always fall in the same way, sometimes resting in high places, and at other times finding its rest where the earth allows it to lie. But its purpose is to move downward. And in this, the stone loves God in the way it can, singing the new song which God gives each creature and thing. And also you, who read this at times, wonder what to do and how to be. So that's why he wrote it. And I love that. Be the stone. Be the stone.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. We were talking about will and natural will, and your natural will,
yes,
in like ancient philosophy was just becoming the manifestation of your nature, like the end manifestation of your nature, which if your nature is to be a tree, then you would start as a seed, but then your will would impel you to grow and to reach toward the sun and reach down into the soil and gather.
Become the oak tree, right? Which is the fathers use that a lot.
Yeah.
Here's one more, and then we can start with our saints. When I was the forest, this is also by Meister Eckhart. When I was the stream, when I was the forest, when I was still the field, when I was every hoof, foot, fin, and wing, when I was the sky itself, no one ever asked me, did I have a purpose? No one ever wondered, was there anything I might need? For there was nothing I could not love. It was when I left all we once were that the agony began, the fear and questions came, and I wept, and tears I had never known before. So I returned to the river, I returned to the mountains, I asked for their hand in marriage again. I begged to wed every object and creature, and when they accepted, God was ever present in my arms. And he did not say, where have you been? For then I knew my soul, every soul, has always held him. That reminds me of May Paradise Consume You. Yeah. So you were going to say a prayer, I think, Jeremy.
Yeah. Hey, I looked that up real quick.
Cool.
I'll share real quick. From the Latin, thisness is a term for medieval scholastic philosophy coined by followers of Duns Scotus to denote a concept that he seems to have originated, the irreducible determination of a thing that makes it this particular thing.
Yes.
Is a person or thing's thisness, the individualizing difference between the concept a person and the concept Socrates, a specific person. Yeah, I think that's a synonym for hypostasis.
Oh, interesting.
In the Greek. That's essentially what a hypostasis is.
Sending me back to Florensky's letter on creation. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, dear ones, I appreciate so much that you read to, for, and with us. Yeah.
Glory to God. We're glad that you're here, and we're glad to be here. It's an honor and privilege.
Yep. And yes, Jeremy, that point that you made about hypostasis, this is what George MacDonald called poetic relations, right? This is what Eckhart's talking about when he says, when I was the forest, when I was the, right? So I returned to the forest. I begged the mountains for their hand in marriage. Yeah. That's that's a hypostasis, right? Happening in the poem, but also happening to him because he's writing that poem. And he can only write from a place that he's, having that experience, right? And that is a hypostasis. This is the thing about George MacDonald's concept of poetic relations that just screamed incarnational to me, because it's like Meister Eckhart says, he says at the end there, and God did not say, "Where have you been?" For then I knew my soul had always held him. And that's why it reminds me of "May Paradise Consume You," right?
Right. Yeah, I was actually talking with, I wasn't talking with anybody. I just had a brief exchange with someone online, and someone was just commenting. It was like an atheist. It was Ricky Gervais, who was talking about, like, why do you ask God for things like he's going to give you something, or like, why are you always asking him for things? And there was something where he's being pretty cynical about it, obviously. Yep, but I was, it was, someone was just like, it's interesting how the atheists always just bring like the transactionality to it, or they always just think that you only pray to ask for things.
It's like they're stuck in Sunday school.
Yeah, well, I was saying it's actually the pagan understanding of deity, right? Which is propitiation. Well, not even propitiation. It's appeasement, which is different than propitiation. Propitiation is making someone happy. It's like doing something that makes them happy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So appeasement, and then in exchange for a favor, right, to deity. That's like the pagan understanding. That's what worship was in the pagan world. You make these sacrifices, you offer them food, you do this thing in exchange for they're going to do this for you, right? Like it's like you're making a deal, you're making a contract. And this is just related to what you're saying, because like, because then there was another guy, I was like, well, they bring a pagan understanding of deity to Christianity, or to when they're trying to understand Christianity. And this guy said, well, isn't that kind of right though? Like, God has all these rules, and we have to do those things if we want his blessings from him. And I was like, no. No. It's I said, do you have a transactional relationship with your wife? Like, I hope you don't. Or more especially, I hope you don't with your kids. Right? Like, what do your kids have to offer you when they're a baby? Other than, smiling sometimes, but mostly they're very needy. They're very, they need constant attention, and that kind of carries on. I was like, that's with God, it's more like he is overflowing love. And if we begin to live in harmony with his love, we begin to participate. As we seek his love, he reveals his love to us. After we seek after him, we begin to enter into it, and we begin to then see the world differently as we begin to experience his love. But that's very different than, I'm going to do this thing or not do this thing, and in exchange, you're going to do this for me, right? Like, that's paganism. So anyway.
Yeah. And you know what I was thinking when you were talking about that? I was thinking, if you want to be warmed by the fire, you have to stand closer to it.
That's right. That's
right.
Yeah. And it might
That's the only thing you have to do, actually.
Yeah.
Right? That when you want to talk about doing something, that's it.
Yeah, my godfather says you have to stand still. He was like, when you come to liturgy, he's like, this is I love this analogy. He goes, you see that candle right there? We were in the nave. He goes, you see the candle right there? I said, yeah. He said, when you're in liturgy, you should do your best to be like that candle. And if he said, if you are blessed that day, then God's grace will come down and light upon you the way the flame lights on the candle. And he said, and it should make you sweat a little bit.
There you go. That's what happens in a Finnish sauna. And you're getting rid of toxins, man.
Yeah, well, I'm in a Finnish sauna here, getting rid of toxins, physically and now spiritually. When we're going to talk about the light of the saints, so. Where to go?
Spit out my coffee.
Sorry.
You know,
right.
when we were hanging out as a family and the kids were all home and stuff, you know, lots of laughing, joking, talking, and you know, we would always have time for that when it was coffee time, right? And I'd take a sip, and almost every single time I'd want to spit, you know, and the kids would, don't spit your coffee out, Mom. Don't do it.
That's great.
It's kind of an ongoing thing.
What a blessing. That's great to have a family that can crack you up like that all the time. That's
really
nice.
They're amazing.
That's great. That's good. Okay, well, I will start with a prayer. O Lord Jesus Christ, open the eyes of my heart that I may hear your word and understand and do your will, for I am a sojourner upon the earth. Hide not your commandments from me, but open my eyes that I may perceive the wonders of your law. Speak unto me the hidden and secret things of your wisdom. On you do I set my hope, O my God, that you shall enlighten my mind and understanding with the light of your knowledge, not only to cherish those things which are written, but to do them. For you are the enlightenment of those who lie in darkness, and from you comes every good deed and every gift. Amen.
Amen.
So I will start with Saint Photini. And she's also known as Svetlana.
Svetlana. Is this the one? Yeah.
This is the woman at the well. This is the Samaritan woman at the well. So our Protestant friends, and perhaps some of our Catholic friends, but most Catholics know this. Saint Photini is the Samaritan woman who had the conversation with Christ at the well in the middle of the day, where he was breaking all of the traditional rules, where a Jewish man is speaking to a Samaritan woman, and no one else is around. So, and it's a beautiful exchange. It's a beautiful conversation. It's in John chapter 4, and we won't share that today, but the traditions of the church have preserved. Well, one, we know her name it's Saint Photini, or like I said, in Russian, in Slavic churches, she's known as Svetlana. And we also have the record of her children and her life, and the church has preserved that she was a martyr, a very early martyr for the faith. So we will, and so this last Sunday was the Sunday where they shared her exchange with Christ. That was the gospel reading for the day, for Divine Liturgy. So thought we would share her life. Martyr Photini, the Samaritan woman, her sons, and those with them. The holy martyr Photini, the Samaritan woman, her sons Victor, named Photinos, and Iosis, and her sisters Anatoly, Photida, Paraskevi, Kyriaki, Nero's daughter Domnina, and the martyr Sebastian. The holy martyr Photini was the Samaritan woman with whom the Savior conversed at Jacob's well. During the time of the Emperor Nero, who displayed excessive cruelty against Christians, Saint Photini lived in Carthage with her younger son Iosis and fearlessly preached the gospel there. Her eldest son Victor fought bravely in the Roman army against barbarians and was appointed as military commander of the city of Italia in Asia Minor. Later, Nero called him to Italy to arrest and punish Christians. Sebastian, an official in Italy, said to Saint Victor, "I know that you, your mother, and your brother are followers of Christ. As a friend, I advise you to submit to the will of the emperor. If you inform on any Christians, you will receive their wealth. I shall write to your mother and brother, asking them not to preach Christ in public. Let them practice their faith in secret." Saint Victor replied, "I want to be a preacher of Christianity like my mother and brother." Sebastian said, "Oh, Victor, we all know what woes await you, your mother and brother." Then Sebastian suddenly felt a sharp pain in his eyes. He was dumbfounded and his face was somber. For 3 days he lay there blind, without uttering a word. On the 4th day he declared, "The God of the Christians is the only true God." St. Victor asked why Sebastian had suddenly changed his mind. Sebastian replied, "Because Christ is calling me." Soon he was baptized and immediately he regained his sight. After witnessing the miracle, Saint Sebastian's servants were also baptized. Reports of this reached Nero, and he commanded that the Christians be brought to him at Rome. Then the Lord himself appeared to the confessors and said, "Fear not, for I am with you. Nero and all who serve him shall be vanquished." The Lord said to Saint Victor, "From this day forward, your name will be Photinos, because through you many will be enlightened and will believe in me." The Lord then told the Christians to strengthen and encourage Saint Sebastian to persevere until the end. All these things and even future events were revealed to Saint Photini. She left Carthage in the company of several Christians and joined the confessors in Rome. In Rome, the emperor ordered the saints to be brought before him, and he asked them whether they truly believed in Christ. All the confessors refused to renounce the Savior. Then Nero ordered that the joints of the martyrs' fingers be broken. During their torments, the confessors felt no pain, and their hands remained unharmed. Nero ordered that Saints Sebastian, Photinos, and Eosis be blinded and locked up in prison, and Saint Photini and her 5 sisters, Anatole, Photo, Photida, Paraskevi, and Kyriaki, were sent to the imperial court under the supervision of Nero's daughter Domina. Saint Photini converted both Domina, and all her servants to Christ. She also converted a sorcerer who had brought her poisoned food. 3 years passed, and Nero sent to the prison for one of his servants who had been locked up. The messengers reported to him that Saints Sebastian, Photinos, and Eosis, who had been blinded, had recovered their sight, and that people were visiting them to hear their preaching. And indeed, the whole prison had been transformed into a bright and fragrant place where God was glorified. Nero then commanded the saints to be crucified, and their naked bodies to be beaten with straps. On the 4th day, the emperor sent servants to see whether the martyrs were still alive. But approaching the place of the tortures, the servants became blind. An angel of the Lord freed the martyrs from their crosses and healed them. The saints took pity on the blinded servants and restored their sight by their prayers to the Lord. Those who were healed came to believe in Christ and were soon baptized. Enraged, Nero ordered that the skin to be flayed from Saint Photini's body. Enraged, Nero ordered that the skin be flayed from Saint Photini's body, and then to throw her into a well. Sebastian, Photinos, and Eosis had their legs amputated, and they were thrown to dogs. Then their skin was flayed off. Saint Photini's sisters also suffered terrible torments. Nero ordered soldiers to cut off their breasts and then to flay their skin. An expert in cruelty, the emperor prepared the most painful execution for Saint Photida. Her feet were tied to the tops of 2 trees which had been bent to the ground. Then the ropes were cut. When the ropes were cut, the trees sprang upright, tearing the martyr apart. The emperor ordered the others beheaded. Saint Photini was removed from the well and locked up in prison for 20 days. After this, Nero had her brought to him and asked if she would now relent and offer sacrifice to the idols. The courageous Photini spat in the emperor's face. Mocking him, she said, "O most impious of the blind, you profligate and stupid man, do you think me so deluded that I would consent to renounce my Lord Christ and instead offer sacrifice to idols which are as blind as you are?" After hearing such words, Nero ordered that the martyr be thrown into the well again. There she surrendered her soul to God around 66 AD. In Greek usage, Saint Photini is commemorated on February 26th. In Constantinople, there are 2 churches dedicated to Saint Photini, where many miracles occurred, especially the healing of eye diseases. The head of Saint Photini is kept at Grigoriou Monastery on Mount Athos. And we have the prayers of Saint Photini.
Amen. I noticed a little theme of the names in the story, and I was reminded of the word photon.
Yep.
So I wanted to read what a photon is. A photon is an elementary particle that acts as the quantum of light and all other forms of electromagnetic radiation. So it is the smallest, particle of light, right?
Yes.
And I was also reminded of
Photini means a brilliant light, means a bright light.
Yeah. So all their names are about light, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was reminded of a beautiful section of a sermon that George MacDonald wrote called Faith, Proof of the Unseen. And the verse that he's working from is, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And towards the end of the sermon, he says this: do you hope for anything, friends? Thank God, that comes from your faith. No man that has not faith can hope. But do not think the world is going all to the devil. There is a better and stronger faith coming. It was a great thing that this foolish, actionless kind of religion should vanish, and that a simple, obedient, hoping, trusting life should take its place. The world is not worse than it was. Many, even of those that do not believe in God, have faith towards their neighbor. Even those who do not believe, on the whole, are better in this century than those that did not believe in the last, as we saw the story that you read. Only we are a set of foolish men and women who simply talk and nothing else, neither believe nor disbelieve, who have neither the soul nor the heart to be in earnest about anything. God has a hold upon them too, and he has but to place his hand upon them to make them feel it. But friends, what we do have to do is let our light shine. Do you get any light? Let it shine. I do not mean be an example to other people. You have no business to set yourselves up for an example. You have to be and to do, like the stone. That's what he's kind of talking about there. Mm-hmm. And that is letting the light shine. It ought not to be possible to mistake a Christian for a man of the world. His very dealings with every man that comes near him have something to show, something that Christ would have done that a man of the world would not do. Tell me, how would you like Christ to come in upon you at any moment in the middle of your business talk? Would you be ready to turn to him and say, Master, this is how I am saying the thing to my friend. This is how I see it in the light of thy love. Would you be ready for that? Or do you think that a great part of your being in your life can be conducted upon other laws than Christian? If a man does that, he is altogether wrong, altogether wrong. Christ is God, the all in all or nothing at all. If we were as the bush, if every Christian were as the bush that burned with fire, that would be the shining our light before men. Atheism would vanish, unbelief would draw in its horns, reproved, judged, and condemned by the very presence of faith. That's what I thought of when you were reading that story. Photons and light.
Yes. The brilliant light, Saint Photini.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was like, the first of her, she was spreading the gospel before Christ even died, right?
One of the earliest, and one of the earliest martyrs. Not the first, but one of the earliest.
Yeah. She was shining her light, my friend.
Okay. We will go to Saint Epiphanius.
Epiphanius. Okay.
Yeah, we'll save Isidore for last. We'll save the fool for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I have a special place in my heart for fools for Christ. Saint Epiphanius, Bishop of Cyprus. Saint Epiphanius, Bishop of Cyprus, and today is his name day. May we have his prayers. A last relic of ancient piety, as Saint Jerome calls him, lived during the 4th century in Phoenicia. The Roman Empress Honoria was his sister. He was of Jewish descent, and in his youth he received a fine education. He was converted to Christianity after seeing how a certain monk named Lucian gave away his clothing to a poor person. Struck by the monk's compassion, Epiphanius asked to be instructed in Christianity. He was baptized and became a disciple of Saint Hilarion the Great. Entering the monastery, he progressed in the monastic life under the guidance of the experienced elder Hilarion, and he occupied himself with copying Greek books. Because of his ascetic struggles and virtues, St. Epiphanius was granted the gift of wonder-working. In order to avoid human glory, he left the monastery and went into the Spanidrian desert. Robbers caught him there and held him captive for 3 months. By speaking of repentance, the saint brought one of the robbers to faith in the true God. When they released the holy ascetic, the robber also went with him. St. Epiphanius took him to his monastery and baptized him with the name John. From that time, he became a faithful disciple of St. Epiphanius, and he carefully documented the life and miracles of his instructor.
Wow.
Reports of the righteous life of St. Epiphanius spread far beyond the monastery. The saint went a second time into the desert with his disciple John. Even in the wilderness, disciples started to come to him, so he established a new monastery for them. After a certain time, St. Epiphanius made a pilgrimage to Jerusalem to venerate its holy shrines, and then returned to the Spanidrian monastery. The people of Lycia sent the monk Polybius to St. Epiphanius, asking him to take the place of their dead archpastor. When he learned of this intention, the clairvoyant ascetic secretly went into the Pethician desert to the great ascetic St. Hilarion, under whose guidance he had learned asceticism in his youth. The saint spent 2 months in prayer, and then Hilarion sent St. Epiphanius to Salamis. Bishops were gathered there to choose a new archpastor to replace one who recently died. The Lord revealed to the eldest of them, Bishop Papias, that St. Epiphanius should be chosen bishop. When Epiphanius arrived, St. Papias led him into the church, where, in obedience to the will of the participants of the council, Epiphanius agreed to be their bishop. St. Epiphanius was consecrated as Bishop of Salamis in 367. St. Epiphanius won renown because of his great zeal for the faith, his love and charity toward the poor, and his simplicity of character. He suffered much from the slander and enmity of some of his clergy. Because of the purity of his life, St. Epiphanius was permitted to see the coming of the Holy Spirit upon the gifts at divine liturgy. Once, when the saint was celebrating the mystery, he did not see this vision. He then suspected this was caused by the spiritual state of one of the clergy, and quietly said to him, "Depart, my son, for you are unworthy to participate in the celebration of the mystery today." At this point, the writings of his disciple John break off, because he became sick and died. The further record of the life of St. Epiphanius was continued by another of his disciples, Polybius, afterwards bishop of the city of Rhinoceria. Through the intrigues of the Empress Eudoxia and the Patriarch Theophilus of Alexandria, towards the end of his life, St. Epiphanius was summoned to Constantinople to participate in the Synod of the Oak, which was convened to judge the great saint John Chrysostom. Once he realized that he was being manipulated by Chrysostom's enemies, St. Epiphanius left Constantinople, unwilling to take part in an unlawful council. As he was sailing home on a ship, the saint sensed the approach of death, and he gave his disciples final instructions: to keep the commandments of God and to preserve the mind from impure thoughts. He died 2 days later. The people of Salamis met the body of their archpastor with carriages, and on May 12, 403, they buried him in a new church which he himself had built. The Seventh Ecumenical Council named St. Epiphanius as a father and teacher of the church. In the writings of St. Epiphanius, the Panarium and the Anchoratus are refutations of Arianism and other heresies. In his other works are found valuable church traditions and directives for the Greek translation of the Bible. In his zeal to preserve the purity of the Orthodox faith, St. Epiphanius could sometimes be rash and tactless. In spite of many impetuous mistakes he may have made, we must admire St. Epiphanius for his dedication in defending orthodoxy against false teachings. After all, one of the bishop's primary responsibilities is to protect his flock from those who might lead them astray. We also honor St. Epiphanius for his deep spirituality and for his almsgiving. No one surpassed him in his tenderness and charity to the poor, and he gave vast sums of money to those in need. I wonder if he's like the patron saint of orthobros.
Well, it says here, in spite of any impetuous mistakes he may have made,
Right.
we admire him for his dedication in defending orthodoxy. And as a bishop, his primary responsibility was to protect his flock. Okay, so I have 2 livestock guardians, and sometimes they do things that I might deem impetuous. But honestly, they are the much better judges of those things. The dogs.
Yes. Yeah.
They've got better sense of smell, better
Right.
sense of sight, and
Yes.
and a better sense of a predator,
What could be a threat? Yeah.
what
Yeah.
might be a threat, and it might not look threatening,
Right.
And like the other day, for example, the sheep came close to the fence. They're in a pasture next to the house, and they came close to the fence, and one of the dogs ran and barked. Actually, no, that's not how it went. I had opened a small gate, and I have an electric fence that goes around that area. It's right in my backyard. And so the sheep can go through that little gate. It's where they get shorn, but I just close off the shearing chute. And then they can go in back there and graze. And I just like them to, because I don't want the grass to get huge. And anyway, one of my dogs ran over there and was, straight for them and barked. And I yelled at her and treated her badly. I mean, I just yelled at her. I didn't hit her or anything. But I, shamed her and everything, because I thought she just wasn't used to them coming in there. So she reacted. No, one of them actually went through the fence. And she chased it back through. Because as soon as I turned around after scolding her, I saw it do it. And I was like,
sorry,
great.
Dog. Yeah.
Great. Just
now go do it.
Yeah. And so when you were reading that line, I was like, well, you could maybe say that if you were observing Saint Epiphanius, but if you're Saint Epiphanius, your sense is, as a bishop protecting your flock, you've got senses, and you might look rash and you might look impetuous to the outsider.
Yeah.
Right? Like my dogs do to me.
Right. Right.
Just something to keep in mind,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, you need to write an essay.
Yeah.
500-word essay on
why you're late.
No, I don't care about why you're late. There's no excuse. I just want to hear about the deleterious effects of tardiness and how it's a manifestation of passive aggressiveness, and what you're going to do to overcome your bitterness and angst. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I don't know you at all. Please forgive me. I'm just kidding.
He's really hitting. He's hitting. I mean, I know Zeke. He's just exactly as you described him. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
What's that kid coming? Yeah, good. Let's hear it. Let's hear about the hidden passive aggressiveness of tardiness. No, I'm speaking of someone who had to repent of that.
Really?
I was.
You were just
I was a tardy person. And
let me tell you. Before we do Saint Isidore the Fool.
Yeah.
Okay, so when my husband and I got married, we moved. We did a 3-week honeymoon, and then got on a plane, went to Switzerland, and suddenly I was a citizen of a new country with a new language, and And the next day, no, actually, the day we arrived in the morning, and at 4:00, they had a wedding celebration for us, right, in Switzerland. And I mean, I had jet lag, and all my luggage got lost, so I had to wear the same clothes I was traveling in. Anyway, it was terrible. It was rough. But his friends made an 8mm animated film of him being late. And it was like, here I am now. I've just committed my entire life to this person. I had no clue that they were always late.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
But boy, I'm like, everyone's laughing, and I'm sitting there going, I don't get it. And, it's not spoken, right? So it's just like little graphics and showing the clock. And, he's supposed to be somewhere at 6:00. And at 6:00, he gets in the shower and then they do this little animated can dance from the shower curtain, with his legs. And, he's just taking his grand old time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, what's so funny? I don't get it. Boy, I found out.
Eventually you found it. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure we're live on Twitter, because normally we get quite a few viewers from Twitter, and today we don't have any, which is a little strange. It looks like it's working. Mark. Yeah. Okay. Just checking. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're good. Nobody wants to join us from there today. Well, that's right. Probably God, they're out like having a beautiful day. Yeah, it's weather. Mm-hmm. They're touching grass and smelling air. It's nice.
Yeah, breathing in the oxygen.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say my dad actually kind of helped me snap out of it as an adult. Well, and I mean, actually, there were several. I had several jobs where it was just like you could not be late. Like if you were late, you couldn't work that day.
Yeah.
Like in production, like in video production and in television production, if you show up 1 minute late, you're not working that day. They just don't have time for it,
No.
And that actually kind of snapped me out of it. But then I always remembered a line that my dad would say where he, because like I worked with him for a while as a welder's helper, and he said, the train doesn't wait on the people. The people wait on the train. So you need to be ready if you're going to get a ride. I'm like, okay, roger that. So
yeah,
that was the line. People wait on the train. The train does not wait on people. Okay, now Saint Isidore, the Fool for Christ. Venerable Isidore, the Fool for Christ and wonder worker of Rostov. Saint Isidore, and his last name means constant of word, Fool for Christ, wonder worker of Rostov. He was born in Germany of rich parents. From his youth, he led an unsullied life and had a compassionate understanding. Leaving his parental home and desiring the kingdom of God, Saint Isidore distributed his wealth to the poor. Taking up the staff of a wanderer, he visited many lands and cities. He was raised in Catholicism, and it is not known where he accepted the Holy Orthodox faith. Finally, he arrived in Russia and decided to live in Rostov. Here, St. Isidore, quote, in filth and snow and rain and cold, and enduring every outrage, unquote, settled in a rickety wooden hut that he himself had made. He chose a foolish manner of life for the sake of Christ, which St. Paul describes in his epistle. St. Isidore spent all his time at unceasing prayer, not allowing himself much sleep or rest. He stood at all-night vigil and praise to dedicate his body everlastingly to God. By day, the Blessed One made the rounds of the city, acting like a fool. Quote, like Job of old in his patience, unquote, Blessed Isidore, while still alive, was, quote, an earthly angel and a heavenly man, a compassionate soul and pure of thought, and vigilant heart and faith unassailed, and true love without pretense, unquote. During his life, he received the grace to work miracles. St. Isidore reposed in the year 1474. They learned of his death only when, passing by his hut, they noticed a special fragrance. At the place of his burial in the city of Rostov, the Church of the Ascension of the Lord was built, in which his relics rest in a crypt as a source of miracles to the present day.
Mm.
Blessed Isidore is termed Zverdislov, constant of word, since he spoke constantly. The title Zverdislov seems unique to Saint Isidore. This supplemental account of him is from Bulgakov's Nastolnaya Niga. I don't know what that means, but
I'm going to look that up.
Glory to
God.
Whatever happened to better late than never? If I said that to my dad, then I wasn't getting a ride that day. He did not appreciate attempts to be cute.
Bulgakov's. Wait.
Sorry. Yep. I'll bring it back. Sorry. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Here we go.
Nostolnaya. Kniga. What is this? Nix. Imagine that. Nothing.
What?
The internet. Oh, they're okay. Oh, it's all in German. I mean, in Russian, of course. Interesting. So I'm just wondering which Bulgakov this is, because there's more than one Bulgakov. Sorry, just looking.
It's okay.
Just curious. I'm just so curious. No, I'll have to look it up another time.
Russian Clergy Handbook.
Oh, there you go. Russian Clergy Handbook?
Mm-hmm. So it's probably a story, like a life of the saint within.
Yeah. There we go. How did you find that so fast?
I've been doing this. I've been doing this internet thing for a while. Here, hold on.
You didn't put Bulgakov in there.
I did in the search that I did put his name and
Nastolnia.
I just saw
Niga. So, and it's written by a Bulgakov, Sergei Bulgakov.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's the Sergei Bulgakov. It's the one I know.
Appears to be. No reviews.
Can you hit the author's name?
That's it.
Interesting.
Maybe it's because they don't normally have his middle name.
Sergei Bulgakov.
Yeah.
So
here's Sergei. Here's Sergius. Sergei.
Yeah, he was born.
Different middle name. I don't.
He was born. He was born in 1871 and died in 1944. So yeah, I guess that's him, eh? Mm-hmm. He looks like a real Russian priest.
Yeah.
If you look at his Wikipedia page, there's a really good portrait.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I wonder if he knew him, or if he just wrote about him. Well, actually, no, he couldn't know him. It was in the 1400s, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm.
Oh yeah, that's a great. That's a great picture.
Doesn't he? He just looks very Russian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Florensky in him.
Mm.
Yeah, there was. If you go back to that Florensky and him picture.
Oh yeah.
So I watched a series of lectures on Florensky, and he featured this photo, or this painting, sorry, of the two of them. Both of them were priests, but Bulgakov is not dressed as a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Bulgakov is scouring. His hand is kind of, I think he's carrying something in his, like he's carrying a stick or something like that. He's carrying his hat. Carrying his hat.
Yeah.
And Florensky's touching his heart. He's wearing his clergy. His head is down. His eyes are down. Right. And he's carrying a staff.
Right.
And it was just, and they were very close friends. Bulgakov went on the philosopher ship. He left Russia. Florensky stayed behind. So it's insinuating, a little bit of their character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Bulgakov was angry and frustrated and,
maybe a little more attached to the world.
Not so much. I think his country was going to hell in a handbasket. He had to leave. Well, they were given the choice, either you leave or die. Right.
I see.
And so a bunch of them left. A bunch of Russian philosophers and clergymen.
Yeah.
And Florensky was given the option, but he stayed because he was working for the Russian government at the time. He knew his days were numbered, but he was just that was his personality. He was going to go down with the ship. Okay, that's really what it was.
Yeah,
he was going to go down with the ship, and one of the interesting qualities of Florensky was that he liked to put himself into situations that he would have called antinomical in nature. He liked to be living within the tension of the two opposing, so he went to work for the government of Russia, the Soviet government, right? Wearing his priestly robes. Because he said that's the only way to live. So he moved into the antinomy because he wanted to experience it. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. And that could have frustrated Bulgakov too, right? Because he didn't want to lose his friend,
Right.
Was he too idealistic? Some people would say. But he left a legacy because of it, because he entered in, right, to that.
Right. That's just how that's the light that he felt he needed to shine. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also, he also describes that as the reason for becoming an Orthodox Christian, because, and becoming a priest. I mean, becoming a priest later was not necessarily because he was an atheist, but entering the church was because he was an atheist. So he held those two things in tension. And that's why in the very beginning of The Pillar and Ground of the Truth, in the introduction, he says, I know I'm just holding a little beeswax candle here, okay? But when I light it, it shows me a treasure house, right, of riches.
Yeah.
So, but what he's illustrating with his own life, so he's a martyr even in that respect, okay? Because he's not taking he's not just going with his own easy street, Yeah. He's pushing himself into the antinomy. And from there, he can actually see the coincidence of opposites, like how they come together in like holiness, actually. That would be what he would say.
Yeah.
It's where holiness happens, right?
Right.
And that's why Fools for Christ are so fascinating, Jeremy.
Yes.
Because that's what they do. They walk in straight into the antinomy. They live in the tension of sanity and insanity, right? Of sacrilegious and religious, of, they show you both worlds, and they mediate them. And the reason that they're there is to mediate them, because, like I call it, holy ground. That's why they are holy fools, because the paradox is holy ground.
Right.
The burning bush is a bush that is on fire and is not consumed. Okay? That's an antinomy. It's two contradictory things happening at one time. And
in one place.
In one place, right?
Yeah.
And there's no reason that should be happening.
Right.
You can call it a paradox, but a paradox, it's kind of like, it's a little abstract. I like to think about it as an antinomy. I like to think about it as two contradictory things that stand together and say, what are you going to do about me? What are you going to do about me? And that's what the burning bush is. That's why the burning bush and the Virgin Mary are symbolically, representative of each other. And what God says to Moses when he approaches it is, take your shoes off, man.
Right.
It's holy ground where the antinomy is. And why I respect Florensky so much is because he walked on it. He went into it, you know.
Right.
He took his shoes off and he went there.
And then stayed there.
And died there.
Right.
Reposed in it.
Yeah.
And you know, the biggest antinomy was
I don't know, by the way.
No, there's no relation.
I don't think so.
But. I don't think there's any relation between them. The biggest antinomy is that he had always wanted to go to the monastery where he died. That was the last gulag, and they had turned it into a prison. Like, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. You know.
That's in the old definition of justice, that's poetic justice.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was most alive there, Jeremy.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, so part of my visit to San Francisco included Alcatraz. And it was actually, so I bought when you would get to Alcatraz, there would be a little in there. So the rooms were all single rooms. There were you didn't share a room. Everybody had their own little cell, but it was only 5 feet wide, like 8 feet long. If that, 7 feet maybe. Anyway, there was a little table and a little chair in every cell. And on the table was the book. It was the handbook for the prisoners, and it had all the rules. And it was thin. I read it. I read the whole thing last night in like an hour. They were required to keep it in their room at all times. And someone made the point, I think things used to be a lot more concise because people had to write it out by longhand and then someone else had to type it. So they were more concise instead of like with a word processor. It's just so easy to type and so easy so people get wordy. But anyway, I was struck by several things. Sorry, that was my neighbor out enjoying the nice weather. But I was struck by several things. One in the book was like, well, one, there weren't a lot of rules. It was mainly just like, we expect you to be orderly and we expect you to respect the rights of the other prisoners, which I thought was fascinating, right? Like they're in, so I was kind of talking to my daughter about it, and she was talking about like how the number of people incarcerated has gotten so high, and we're the highest, like we're like 33% of the world's people in prison are in America. And, we talked about some reasons for that, and I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
But the point that I brought up was that, because she was saying like, why are prisons so, maybe different now, or, there's so many different rules and problems. And I said, well, I don't know how else to say this, but like people back then, this was so it was open from 1943 to 1964.
Right.
And I just said, people were more civilized back then, even criminals. Right. So like there were 275 prisoners. They had not a baseball team. They had a baseball league. They had an orchestra. They had a band. The prison had instruments that you could borrow. You could buy your own instruments. You could practice only between 6 and 7:30 p.m. every day. No singing was allowed. But like they had, you weren't allowed to make loud noises or be obnoxious. And, they had a couple of riots, and obviously there were a couple of people who were killed in prison. I'm not saying that Alcatraz prisoners were great men. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the overall cohesiveness of the culture was much more intact then. And like the commonality of religion was much more common then. They had Catholic services and they had Protestant services every Sunday. They had a Catholic chaplain and a Protestant chaplain.
Yeah.
For the church, right? And then they had Jewish services as well.
Yeah.
So like even the criminals went to church. Right? Sure. Like this is just, I was trying to like, because my daughter was just like civil. That was kind of triggering for her, but I was just trying to say like there was more of people had more of an intrinsic sense of
civility
and virtue than they do now. People are more nihilistic now, I think, and nihilism leads to insanity. And back then, I don't think even the darkest very few of the darkest criminals were nihilists.
Interesting, yeah.
And so
I'm not sure about that. I just want to say I'm not sure about that. Thinking that the United States has that much of a prisoner population compared to the rest of the world. If you think about, oh my gosh, like Iran.
Well,
North Korea,
right. It's the whole difference
China?
in looking at per capita versus overall number. So the statistics people that she likes to look at whole numbers. So like if you take all of the imprisoned people in the world, we have 33% of all imprisoned people in the world. But yeah, if you look at per capita, we're not the highest in the world. So it's one of those things.
Oh, okay.
Per capita is just.
How do they know who some of these countries are like?
And how many they have? There's no way they know.
No, there's no way to know.
There's no way to know how many. No. That's actually a very good point. There's no way to know in Iran or in Kazakhstan or in Uzbekistan or
Russia,
China,
or like
I said, North Korea.
Like, we got our prison numbers form from the United Nations. Who's going to fill it out?
Right.
I doubt it.
That's a very good point. Yeah, these are very suspect numbers. Very true.
I mean, maybe in the United States they would honestly fill it out.
Yeah.
So then they get the rap sheet to go with it. But anyway, it's just come on.
So the other interesting thing was the solitary confinement area where they really did just put them in the dark. They closed the door completely. There was no light that would come through the doors.
Yikes.
And it was in a cold area where it was like on the outer edge of the prison, and they would let the wind blow through. They would open the window on either end, and the wind sails through there in the wintertime, especially. It's very cold. And so there was we listened to a little audio tour, which did have some nice little leftist stuff toward the end, but but what was cool about it was like the interviews with people who had actually been prisoners there. And so there was one guy who said when he was in solitary confinement, he removed the button from his jacket, and he would spin around in a circle a few times to get dizzy, and then he would throw the button, and then he would
look for it,
feel around and look for it to find the button. And that's how he occupied himself.
Wow.
To not go crazy.
Did you see the new series, The Count of Monte Cristo? It's a BBC new miniseries. It's so good because he's imprisoned on an island in, some horrible, I can't remember the name of it, prison in France. And he's just left there for 7 years, He gets this massive beard and, and then one day he hears it knock, 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 and then this brick pushes out and the guy in the cell next to him. And this is an old fort, so it's got these like massively thick stone walls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the guy next to him crawls through, and he's been in there for, I don't know, 15 years or something.
Wow.
By himself. And they find each other. And just the reunion of two human beings, like that's really, it was really well done. You should watch it, Jeremy.
I will. That sounds good.
Super, super good. I'm telling you.
That's like the most popular book in prison, by the way. That is number one behind the Bible comes after it nowadays.
It is an incredible book. I've never read the book. Okay.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've read it.
Have you read it?
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. I'm really I follow a lot of book channels, reading channels. This one guy is the best book he's ever read. And he's got a lot of subscribers. He's got a YouTube channel and it was The Count of Monte Cristo.
It is a great book. Yeah. It is a great book.
Yeah. Well, I loved the miniseries, and it was really, really, really well done.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've just seen the movie. I think Leonardo DiCaprio did it in the 2000s. I don't remember.
Hey, Tony. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's a really good series. They don't skimp on the story, right? Because they've got whatever it is, 8 episodes or 6. I don't remember how many there are to tell it. So it's really well done.
Yeah, I was looking at. There's like 50 versions of Counting Monte Cristo, right?
It's a new BBC.
Yeah, no, I was trying to find the one I had seen.
Oh yeah,
trying to watch the movie or trying to find the movie that I saw.
If it was Leonardo DiCaprio, that was the kind of the latest movie, I think, for some reason.
No, there was one that actually just last year.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Well, when you
maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's John. Maybe it's this one. I think this is the one I saw.
You can't make a movie out of that. How do you do that?
This is the one I saw. The same guy who played Christ in The Passion of the Christ.
Oh yeah,
James Caviezel. Yeah, I can't remember how to say his name. Caviezel, yeah.
What year is that? That looks
2002.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one I saw, and it's very good. This was also a very good movie.
Yeah. But it's only a 2-hour film.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, the miniseries would be better, more detailed.
Yeah. Super great. I recommend it to my daughter, and she always takes my recommendations, as any child of yours would take them. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever.
No, we are watching.
So good.
Yeah, we did that. It was funny. We watched Crimson Tide a few months ago, and that's the one with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good film, and it's very, very tense the whole time, very suspenseful. And my daughter was like, couldn't even hardly sit. She had to she was pacing watching the movie, and she's just like, wow, this writing is so good. Like, what? And I'm like, yeah. We used to think that this was just how movies were, right? Like, we were so spoiled. They just
went in the toilet.
Yeah, just
insane
so
how bad it is.
Yeah.
Like Dog Day Afternoon and
or the new the Reed-Odyssey.
The what? Oh,
Reed-Odyssey. It's the new Odyssey with Christopher Nolan, but that's the nickname that has been given.
What's the nickname?
The Reed-Odyssey.
Oh, Reed-Odyssey. Oh no.
It's so bad. Like, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
They're messing it up in every possible way. So
why?
Because it's rewriting history. It's propaganda, right? It's what they do. I mean, this is right out of 1984. It's right out of it's right out of propaganda written by what's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Bernays.
Thank you. Yeah, Ed Bernays.
Yeah, it is.
Who's great nephew or grandson? There's a relative of his who now runs Netflix. So there you go. Wow. Also related to Freud.
Yeah.
So that's why. It's the same spirit of rewriting history. Right. Yeah. To say this is what the West was.
So repressed sexuality turned into repressed history.
Yeah. It's just straight rewriting, right? It's just straight.
What the heck?
Yeah. It's erasing through watching it.
Yeah.
Because then you make it so uninteresting that nobody, that's the attempt anyway. But now it's actually so many people are wanting to read the Odyssey now, reading the Iliad and the Odyssey. It's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Prayers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending the evening with us. God bless you. Thank you.
Speaking of writing things, I was on a live stream with Rigel, the last one he did. It wasn't last Friday, but the one before, I think. And Stephen Osborne was on, and he was telling the story of being in the choir at his church. He's an Orthodox Christian. And how his godmother, she's got all the music and everything all paper clipped, in the right order. And, he's sitting there thinking, or and other, I guess other people have mentioned it or something like that. If we all had iPads or something, or we had it on our phones, then we could just, slip through it without the paper clips, And sometimes he likes to irritate her by looking under the paper clip at the thing that's coming next, and she, and then she realizes she put something in the wrong order, so she's running around to everybody and moving their paper clips, So he was telling this story about it, but he said if it wasn't for the paper clips, he wouldn't be having that experience with her, right?
Yep.
So I just wanted to read you a little poem that I wrote about it. Paper clips, I called it. They stand at the ready. They hold. They sort. They are prepared. Shiny metal, a testament to civilization. Now they're old school. Flickering light has replaced them. Mesmerizing. Paper clips are no longer efficient and hardly effective. You glide and dance between us, we who sing with the angels. A bee from flower to flower, a mother, your purpose, correcting and connecting. Fluttering pages, your wings. Breathlessness is your duty. Frustration and joy wash in tiny lapping waves across your face. If it wasn't for paper clips, I would not have smelled your hair as you bent in front of me to sort and correct. I would not have felt the rush of air following you as you flew past on wings of love. And your sweet breath would have remained a stranger to me, and the softness of your touch.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the old school camp there. As someone who works with digital tools for a living, it's very ephemeral, and it's very it does not tie. It just doesn't tie. Like when you're reading a physical book, you can remember which side of the page it was on and where on the page it was. When you're reading on a digital text, especially if you switch, like you're reading on your Kindle and then you switch and you're reading on your computer and then you switch, you're reading on your phone, it's much harder, at least for me, to remember what came after what or where I read something. Where if I'm reading in a book, I just know exactly where it is. And and so like I think there's something about the physicality of the music and her not wanting you to flip ahead that's keeping you here. Because if you're on your phone, then you're getting a text, you're getting a notification, and then you're swiping off, and then even if you don't swipe off, you're getting those distractions that are just native to digital devices, right? And
well, it's also
why you're just there with the paper,
flickering light that mesmerizes.
Yeah.
Have you ever sat around a campfire with a bunch of people? What are they looking at?
Their phones.
The flickering light. No, the flickering light.
Nowadays, I'm telling you, like
people staring at their phones.
Yeah, I know.
And I got mad.
What drives me crazy is when you go to like a restaurant and there's like tables full of people just sitting there and all of them are looking at their phones and you're like, what are you doing? It's such a missed opportunity.
And I want to write a poem about how much it costs them. Because, first of all, they pay for their phone plan monthly.
Right.
They pay for overage fees if they use up too much data. They pay for the meal that they haven't really been present for.
Right.
And the whole time they're stuck behind the screen.
They're in a different world. They're completely in a different world. They're in their own little room in an insane asylum.
So how much does it really cost?
Right.
Right.
And you'll never get that day back. You'll never be there with those people eating that food again. Right. Like it's gone. And you spent it looking
behind your screen.
Media. And this is as someone who spends way too much time looking at social media. Like this is me preaching to myself. It's not good. It's very enticing. Well, and it's just self-love. It's like comfort seeking. It's that, oh, this is nice. Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, I'm relaxing.
Well, I've been being a little solitary at the moment. It's like you need some voices for some company, so sure. I've got something on, listening to something. And after a while, I was just like, oh, I can't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started listening to audiobooks.
Yeah.
And mostly just short fairy tales by George
Yeah.
MacDonald. There's lots of short fairy tales by George MacDonald on YouTube. And I've been working on another knitting. I knit almost done my second sweater, and
Nice.
second sweater in a month. And
Wow.
And so I'm like I'm watching The Last Kingdom again. I just love that series.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it was really
Bernard
fun.
Cromwell book.
Mm-hmm.
So I peek into YouTube to see what's going on in the news, and then I just have to get away from it because it's starting to sound like a jumble of voices. And everybody's vying for your attention, eh? Have you ever, been with a bunch of little kids?
And then like the AI thumbnails are all just, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, no, I worked at a children's museum, and part of that was helping them with crafts, so we'd have school groups that came through, and you're helping 25 or 30 kids with a craft, and you would say, okay, now do this. And then you get 30 versions of like this, teacher, like this, like this, like this. And it's like, yes, no, yes, let me show you. Come here. Right? It's just like this, like now imagine like 12 steps, right, to make the craft. It was crazy.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's the notice me kind of. And that's what, like, I hate the AI thumbnails now. It's like,
I do too.
Dorky. It's annoying.
I do too. I'm afraid my dear husband is not making the distinction between AI and videos. And
it's hard. It's easy to get taken in. It's easy to get. I get tricked occasionally, and I'm very immersed in that world, and I still
you know what? The only way for me to solve that problem is either to watch someone I'm familiar with, like let's just say Jonathan Pajot, who I know this is his podcast and this is his guest, and then maybe I'm curious about the guest, and then I look for more information about them and find them somewhere else.
Right.
But I'm just sticking to the real here.
The trusted, known connection.
Like skin on skin, man.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, and so I'm watching. I have a couple of guys that are just doing some, what do you call that? Building log cabins in the wilderness channels.
Yeah.
And
I've watched a few of those.
Yeah, and I follow these two specific guys. They're both Canadians, and been watching their content for a long time. And this video pops up about one of them. Where is so and so? I'm like, what? And he missed putting a video out. Well, actually, he put it out, and then he had to take it down because he had sound problems on it. And I had seen it in the morning, and then it disappeared, right? And then this pops up. Where is he? And then it tells you this long story, and it features clips from his videos. This young man went off into the wilderness, and he hasn't been heard from since. And I'm like, this is such garbage.
Yeah,
it's all AI.
I know.
And it's just, and then you look at I look at the about thing, and it's like the channel's been in existence since this guy's channel came out. 2025 or something, right. And it's from Azerbaijan. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, and this is an honest question, Jeremy, like, what are they getting out of this? Are they getting paid by YouTube for views?
They can, yeah, if you get enough views, for sure. Yeah. I mean, this happens on Twitter all the time. Like, it's people reposting content, and then people just posting things that they know will make people respond. The clickbait, rage bait, right? Where you just say something obviously annoying and obnoxious, and then you get, 10,000 people who reply to you, and
yeah,
then you get paid, right? So it's very salacious, and it's another reason why it's really not good spiritually to spend much time there, because it's like,
well, it can make you really really cynical about humanity, I can tell you that.
yes, exactly, yeah,
And that's not a good thing.
no, it's much better to pay attention to the people around you in your life. That's that. This was something I shared this video with you. I don't think we talked about it because it was after our video. It was after our live stream last week. But this idea of like Orthodox spirituality and healing, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, and then in the time between, where this idea of is like, instead of a court of law, it's a hospital for healing, and instead of suffering from an infraction of the law, you're suffering from an illness that affects your ability. It's like, and this idea that God would be angry with us for this and stuff, is this, like, the idea of God's wrath is essentially just his love, his presence it would be perceived as wrath if you don't want to be around him, but somebody used the analogy of, like, would you get really mad at somebody if they have the flu, right? Mm-hmm. And they didn't do this thing that you wanted them to do? Like, obviously, no, you're going to be extending a lot of grace to people who are sick. And that's like another way to think of how God is working with us, right? It's like we're in a sick ward where we have a flu, we can't see clearly, we're mostly blind and mostly deaf, and we can only do very small things to move toward him, but he's always there with us, meeting us, for every centimeter or inch that we move toward him. He's coming, 100 miles, right? So it's been helpful for me, because, like, still I'm having conversations, I'm having exchanges with people who still have this very transactional view of God, and, like, baptism is a transaction, and hell is a transaction, and God's love is a transaction, and it's like, good Lord, we're in trouble. Like, that's just a really poisonous mindset. It's terrible. It's very insidious. And it's so common. It's like the common view.
It's void of healing.
Right. And it's no wonder people reject it. No wonder people walk away from it. That's what I walked away from.
Yeah, exactly.
That transactional view of God is just, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
I mean, and I don't blame the people that see things that way. They don't know. They haven't been exposed to another way of.
No, I wasn't. I had no idea there was other ways of seeing things.
Yeah.
No idea.
Right.
And that's why when I read his justice sermon, I was just blown away. I just wept.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, I knew that what he was saying was right.
Yeah.
I knew it. But I didn't know that I knew it. There's my other favorite quote.
Yeah.
A man can know and not know that he knows.
Right. Yeah. I've definitely had those experiences as well.
Yeah.
Where suddenly something becomes clear and you're like, oh. Yeah. I think, did I mention this last week? My brother's living with us temporarily, and he mows the lawn for his rent, and it's transactional, right? It's transactional. And no, we would be happy to have him stay, but he wanted to contribute. So anyway, we're grateful for it, and he loves mowing the lawn, so it's great. Mm-hmm. But he came in and he said, "You know what I realized mowing the lawn today?" I was like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Mowing the lawn just makes women happy." And I go, and like this, it's one of those things that seems so simple, but when he said it, I had this connection to this idea, because, like, I'm one who lives in chaos. I'm still healing from I'm still being healed from my upbringing in my childhood, and so my nervous system has only started calming down enough in the last several years to be able to begin to address my physical surroundings. And and so, like, mowing the lawn is not really something I enjoy. It's okay, but it's not really, I don't get a lot of satisfaction from it. But what clicked for me when he said that was this idea, like the reason why it makes women happy in my mind, like what clicked was that it's because it's manicured, which means it's subdued, it's domesticated, it's familiar, it's known, it's predictable. You can see there's no snakes hiding in the grass. There's no hidden rats and mice in the tall grass, right? It's clean. And like I said, like, so this connected also instantly when he said that. It connected with this conversation we had where I visited a monastery in Arizona, and it's in the desert. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's out in the middle of nowhere. If you don't know where it is, you wouldn't find it. And they just have this huge garden, and there's multiple buildings and multiple churches. It's a very large monastery for America. And so there's palm trees everywhere and other trees around on the grounds, but all of the trees have, they trim them, and the monks do all of the tree work and everything, right? Like, actually, that's what I was helping with while I was there. We were cutting all the branches and hauling the branches out, and they use them as basically as mulch around the fruit trees.
The other trees, yeah.
And so anyway, on those palm trees, there's the bottom like 4 feet is painted white. And I asked him, I was like, how come you guys paint the trees white? Is it a heat thing? Does it help reflect the heat? He said, we thought so, but then we did some more research and found out it's not really true. But the abbot likes it because it makes it look manicured. It makes it look like a garden instead of a forest.
Right.
And that, that always just kind of sat with me. And that was the little seed that was planted like 5 years ago.
Right.
That then came to life when my brother said, mowing the lawn makes women happy.
Good.
And now I understand. So I have been trying to keep my things more tidy. I know a few places that my wife really, she gets very upset if I have stuff sitting there, especially for long periods of time. So I've been trying to be more attentive to those areas to make her feel more comfortable and not feel that chaos and those hidden dragons in the piles. I call them the trauma piles, right?
My son says that about his wife. I'm like, where's Annie?
She's a trauma pile, or
she's making piles, Mom.
Yeah,
it drives him insane.
Well,
a pile for this and a pile for that and a pile over
that.
He's just super organized, though. That's the pile. They're not like mountain.
Oh, mine are heaps, not stacks.
There you go.
Mine are heaps, not stacks, for sure. And as you know what it really is, and it comes from a very deep place of like just not being able to decide where something should be, right? Just not knowing, because I use this excuse of just like, well, if you optimize for putting things together around this paradigm, later you're going to need a thing, but it's not going to be in that paradigm, so you're not going to know it's there. And then I just have these heaps, and I can't find anything anyway, so then I just go buy it anyway. So it's like, it's just an excuse, but really is like, it's a paralysis when it comes to handling things and making putting it in a place.
Do you think it's connected to remembering too?
How so?
Well, I mean, I had a friend who he was a single guy, lived alone his whole life.
Oh, knowing where stuff is?
And his whole life was like laid out on his kitchen table.
Yeah.
In piles, and then he had something to that over there, and everything was like within arm's length.
Yes. There's something to that for sure. Yeah.
Like my husband will leave something out, and I'll be like, that actually goes in the cupboard.
Right. Oh yeah. No, that this is a common point of contention in our household. It's like, you put the thing right now, like here's the pantry, and there's a counter next to the pantry, and you put it, you moved it, closer. Thank you. But like, it's just another like 2 feet right there, so.
Look at all the drawers the island has. See these? Kind of thing.
Yeah. So there is something about visual, like out of sight, out of mind, right? Where you don't have the object permanence.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, there is something to that for sure. But also it is in the moment, it seems like a good idea to put it there, and then you're going to know where it is. And then that kind of context falls out, right? You fall out of that context, and then you come back and it's a blindness. You don't see it anymore. You don't see the pile. Like 99% of the time, I don't see the pile in a way where I see, like I would consciously be aware of seeing the pile.
Right.
I'm not seeing it. And my wife can only see it.
That's crazy.
She can't see anything else because she's so fixated on the heap, right? And so I've really been trying to work hard on addressing my heaps and keeping them moving.
Okay, let me tell you this. See if this jives with you at all. Maybe it's just my idiosyncrasy, but I like my surfaces clean. Whatever I have on my countertops or whatever, it's just only what absolutely has to be there.
I'm going to show you my desk right now. Here we go. This is where I do this stream. So
right. Yeah, that looks decent.
So book, key, glasses, watch.
Yeah.
This manual for a thing. This is my stream deck. This is the mixer. That's a clock that gets unplugged a lot, and so I don't reset the time. This is the volume. This is a bag of sunflower seeds that has like 1 bite of sunflower seeds left in it, so I haven't thrown it away. There's another manual for a thing that I just need to throw away. There's a picture of my father kissing me on the cheek. There's an icon of Saint Columbus and Columba, and here is a Christmas tree, an LED Christmas tree. We'll light that up for the camera, and that's right in front of my icon of Saint Columba. And here is my icon of Saint Gabriel, and then here's my candles that I do in a little clay flower pot.
Yeah.
And there was another one back here, but it just went out during the show. Glory to God. And and then a couple of the adult beverage glasses, and this is my sunflower seed spitting cup. So that's just my desk. And then next to my desk, like you can't really see, it's too dark, but like there's a blanket, there's a heap here.
Yeah.
And so in answer to your question, no, I'm not that kind of person. I don't when open spaces make me anxious. That's what it is. It's the opposite.
No, but I was going to tell you this. So I like to have my countertops. I've got things sitting on the countertops, but only the things that have to be there, like, on my countertops. And everything else is in a cupboard.
Right.
Plates and dishes and spices and, But my son will come over and he'll be like, Mom, where's all your Indian spices? And I'll open up the little pantry and I'll go pull out a drawer. There's some here. There's some up here. And there's some over there. And I was like, because they all should be, like tuck, one after the other. But they're mapped in my mind. So if somebody switched them out, I would be frustrated because even though I have to go over there and over there and over there. And so my cupboards are ordered, but things like food or whatever, it's just being used. It's disappearing. So I chuck it. Yeah. And then it gets used up and then you fill it up again. Right.
Right.
But
I am throwing away I'm going to throw that.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. Bravo.
Oh, actually I put the trash can out earlier to air it out. So I can't throw it away.
Just throw it on the blanket.
I did. I put it on the floor next to my chair. So now I won't see it again for another month. That's how it works. Right. No, I know it does sound funny. And it is, like, God bless my wife. She's been living with this for 25 years. Right. So, it's and I'm only now getting around to a place where I can address it, just for various reasons. I don't, but through the healing grace of Christ,
you're learning to clean your room.
We're being healed. Yes, correct. Yes,
yeah.
Thank you, Jordan Peterson. God have mercy on him. So,
yeah, Lord, take care of that man. He's done a great service.
He did for me.
He did for a lot of people.
Snapped me out of the spell of,
listen,
of materialism.
I think the reason that the churches are filling up with people is because of Jordan Peterson. So come on.
He definitely played a role. That is a fact. Of
course.
Well, that's why
Why are young men wanting to get married and have children?
Right.
And women, for that matter.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you could measure actually the effect that he's had.
No. No. Well, that reminds me of
such a ripple effect.
There's an Orthodox joke. I'm going to try not to butcher it. Hold on. You know what? I'm going to let this Russian guy tell it. The guy who wrote Loris was interviewed on Jonathan Peugeot's channel a long time ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I'd love to watch that.
It is fantastic. He speaks pretty good English.
That is an amazing book.
And yeah. Well, and he was really pleased with the translation as well, because there was his assistant who translated it into English, who knows more of like English, like medieval history, and was able to kind of contextualize it and make sure that she knows Russian and English very well. So he was like, this is way better than I would have done.
Oh, wow.
It's a great translation. So let me I'll share the link first, and then let me see if I can find the place in the video where he tells this joke, because it's amazing. It's like one of my favorite jokes, and I really need to practice it because he tells it way better than I do. Let me see if I can get the transcript and see if I can find it here. Hold on. View transcript. And then can I search in the transcript? Yes, I can. Okay. Joke. Ah. 52. Here we go. I think I found it. I will share this. Hopefully our friend Mr. Peugeot will not copy strike us for sharing this joke.
God. And
hold on.
One monk told me a good joke.
Okay, here we go.
About a priest and a driver, a bus driver. They, after the death, they met each other in the paradise. And as the priest saw the driver, he was a drunkard and drove his bus on Serpentine. And suddenly he sees him in paradise, and he asks God, tell me please, for many decades I spoke to my brothers and sisters. I told so many good words, and he drank all this time, and he put in question the lives of his of the people that were sitting in the bus, and he's also here. Why? And God answered him. So during all your speeches, everybody were sleeping. If this man came to Serpentine with his bus, all the people were praying.
That's a wonderful joke, and it.
That's great. You know what I love about Russian speakers when they speak English? They do a lot of this, and I just really want to be in their heads. I'm like, where are they? Because their language somehow demands this have you ever seen, like how you attach notes?
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no silence between the words. There's always this, I don't know if Eugene is watching, but it's like, like when you listen to, what's his name there? The Russian philosopher. He's the same. What's his name? The dangerous Russian Putin's.
Oh yeah.
What's the guy's
Dugin.
name? Dugin is the same. Any Russian speaker that I've heard that is, they're. I know that they're translating, like, because I've been in that spot, like where I'm translating something from English into German or German into English, and then, but I don't necessarily go and then say the word, and it's this drone that hangs on in Russian, and I don't know why, and I really want to know why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to learn it, and then I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I have been threatening to learn it.
Go for it.
It would be fun, actually.
Yeah. I love that joke. It's so good.
Great. Yeah.
When you were speaking, the people were sleeping. But when this man shows up in the bus, and everyone's praying.
And is driving like this.
Yes. Yeah.
Serpentine.
Yeah. It shows up serpentine. Yeah. That was a great turn of phrase as well.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. They're all praying. Yeah.
That's I think the reason I was tying to that is that, just like that, like this drunk man has this effect on so many people's lives in a way that he wasn't even intending. I think Jordan Peterson similarly was not really intending to do what happened. He rode the wave, certainly, once it showed up and he paddled into it. But I don't think he put up that video about free speech expecting to be giving a 10 lecture series on the Bible, that would be sold out. And then to have a blockbuster, like New York Best Times or bestseller,
Well, here's the thing, the way I've always approached it, those things are not the thing that stood out to me about Jordan Peterson, and the reason that I continued to listen to him and that I dug into his lectures and I tried to understand who the man was because of his integrity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was willing to stand up in front of a full house and think out loud about the Bible.
Right.
And it wasn't a creedal congregation. No. So he didn't have to worry about breaking any of the rules or scandalizing anybody. Right. He freely admitted, this is me thinking out loud. And you got to follow his train of thought, right?
Yeah.
And two things happen there. One of them is your attention is held. And the other one is you're learning how to think like he does.
Yeah.
Okay. Tangentially, where things are connected and hyperlinked. Because that's how he thinks.
Yep. He made that point in the very first lecture on the Bible.
Yeah.
He showed that chart of the hyperlinks.
And the reason that appeals to him is because that's how he thinks.
Yeah. Right.
And that's how a critical thinker thinks.
Yeah.
And nobody's thinking critically anymore, Jeremy. So this is
correct.
Like this, it's not just what he's talking about, it's how he talks about it that impacts people. So, that then they start to go, then they start linking, hyperlinking, right?
Yeah.
And lights start going on, and they can sort themselves out. They can clean their rooms. They can, because of the way he thinks, and they're learning how to think like that. And he did say they should go to church.
Yep.
Go to church. So guess what they did? They went to church.
I'm one of them.
Right.
I'm one of them.
Lots of people went to church.
Yeah. I ran into him, and then he led me to Jonathan Pajot, who broke me with what broke me finally was of course, Santa Claus Exists video.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just like the way he explained it. And all of a sudden I understood identities, And I understood that identity is, then all of a sudden I understood that phrase, the king is dead, long live the king.
Yeah.
It was like, this is like obviously clear. Before that broke my materialist mind.
Right,
I couldn't understand it. I thought it was
so that's
nonsensical.
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a reorientation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. To be able to say that, oh, I don't have to think like this. I can think like this, right? Vertically,
mm-hmm. Right?
Not just horizontally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome back. I oft sense you have more particularity that you allowed to be shaved toward agreeableness or tenderness. I'm not sure what you're saying, but I definitely rank really high on agreeableness in the big five. I'm high in openness, high in agreeableness, medium in conscientiousness, medium in neuroticism, and what was the other one? What's the other one? I don't remember.
I have the list actually.
Okay, let's see.
I don't even like telling people what mine was.
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. I'm an open book.
Okay, wait.
Mostly open book.
Big five, right?
Yeah.
5. I can tell you though. Here we go. Okay, agreeableness.
Yeah, high in that.
Conscientiousness.
Medium in that.
Orderliness.
Low in that. Not low, but like 30.
Yeah, enthusiasm.
High in that.
Neuroticism.
Medium in that.
And openness to experience.
High in that. So I was always a bit of an anomaly because I was high in openness, but I would consider myself politically conservative. Now I realize that conservatism is just it's just part of being liberal. It's just still liberalism, and I'm not into that. I just don't. I don't relate with that anymore. But. Sometimes I don't think I hear you, but hear of you as related to others' environments. Not criticism, a sort of sorrow. I'm still not quite sure I understand what you're saying, but I will say I actually try to step back quite a bit in this live stream. I'm normally a very bold, very domineering person in a conversation or in a room, in a meeting. I'm really working on trying to be quiet more and to listen more and pray more in those kind of settings and not draw so much attention to myself.
I got a little something to show you here.
And so in this stream, I am trying to be a good host. I really value my friendship with Sherry, and I enjoy her insights. And so I try to create space for that. And I try not to just be my normal overbearing self out of respect for her and out of respect for the audience. So I don't know if that's some of what you're noticing, but I make a conscious effort to not be as controlling of the conversation as I normally am.
I don't want this to play. Let's do this. Oh. Can you hear this if this is playing in the background?
So I've missed a whole lot while I was waiting. Oh, I don't know. We're just kind of meandering in through chats. I can hear that was like thunder.
Okay, it was just I'm just looking. I want to show you something, Jeremy, when you're talking about stepping back and I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
I don't think we'll get a copyright strike here. I think it'll be okay. This is so good. All right. Can you see this?
Not yet.
Yeah?
Now I can. Yep.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Tell me if you can hear it.
Yep.
Okay.
You have 2 ears and but one mouth. Let this friend be a token. Much should be heard, and not so much be spoken.
This is a George MacDonald excerpt.
I saw that.
To eyes and but one mouth, that is an indication. Much must you see, but little serves relation. You have two hands and but one mouth, receive the hint you meet with, for labor two, but only one to eat with.
May be blessed.
Right?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to not take up so much space in every space I go into. So that's kind of been
You want to hear my big five since we're doing this?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm not going to let you lay yourself bare there I'll join you.
No problem. I'll see if I can find my actual numbers. We'll compare.
I got all my numbers here.
Okay.
I got them all, like, the subcategories.
Oh, yeah.
So in agreeableness, I'm 77th percent. This is all percentile, right? Out of 100.
Yep.
Compassion is also 77th, and politeness is 71st. In a conscientiousness, I'm 96th percentile.
Yeah.
Industriousness is 98th percentile.
Yep.
Orderliness, 80th percentile. Extroversion is 97th percentile. Enthusiasm is 97th percentile. Assertiveness is 92nd percentile.
Wow.
Neuroticism is 67th percentile. Withdrawal is 62nd percentile. And volatility is 68th percentile. And openness to experience is 99th percentile.
There you go.
Intellect is 97th percentile, and openness is 97th. So what's crazy about mine is that I'm like way up there in almost everything. And conscientiousness and openness to experience, I'm 96th in conscientiousness and 99th in openness. And that's a rare combination.
Yes, it is. Yep. Usually if you're high in openness, you're low in conscientiousness.
Yeah. And I find it, when I did that test, it was revelatory. I think I told you the story. I realized, this was always my problem. I have these two, I've got an angel and a demon, and they switch places. One's like, you can't do anything creative till you finished your work. Right. And I'm industrious and I'm orderly. Okay.
Right.
So I'm just like, guess what I did more than anything? I worked, when you're homesteading, if you're not that person, forget it. If you're not conscientious, you're going to freeze to death or starve to death.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And and then the creativity stuff just kind of, my conscientiousness always put it on the back burner.
Right.
The openness to experience, I was open to experience. Like I was out there doing everything, come at me. Let's,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wasn't there's a creativity aspect to that. And I wasn't letting my creative self thrive. So when I read that, I was like, oh, I get it. I got to divvy up my time, half and half. I'm equally conscientious as I am creative. And if I don't give myself the room to be creative, I'm going to, because I was having like serious mental health problems because of it.
Right. Yep.
I literally dreamt that my creativity was in a crawl space and it turned to ash. Okay.
Yeah.
In a musty old crawl space.
I remember that story. Yep.
So anyway, it's just, but here's the deal. I very much believe in transformation. especially as a Christian, that God
Yes.
is transforming me. He's making me new. So I'm not going to be stuck on all those things.
Right. That's I feel the same. Right. Where it's useful as a guidepost, but I can also use it as a reference point for moving in a different
Well, that's
direction.
what I did. I used it as a way to order my orderliness, order my life so that I could thrive. And you know what, Jeremy? I did after that.
Yeah.
So I literally spend all morning till around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock sometimes. Depends on how early I start. I spend all that time working. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Housework, farm work, whatever it is. And then I have lunch, and then I'm creative until then. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, if my husband, if I've got a house full of people, then it's definitely different,
Right.
But no, that's what I've been doing ever since I did that test. And what peace, what balance. I'm telling you, it's insane. Like if you look at,
because now it's both sides are being addressed, right? Both
right.
of your.
And I mean, I would encourage people to look at those if they have done the Big Five. Have a look at that and see what that map looks like. What shape are you, right? And then let that shape have credence. It's okay, right? I mean, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. That's how I feel. And the two things you can't change about yourself, those other things can moderately shapeshift, okay? But conscientiousness and creativity, they don't change. You can't change those. So, yeah.
I was looking for my test. See if I have it. I was listening, but I was also looking for my. Yeah, I think I found it. Here it is. Nope, just a kidding. Report. Okay, here we go. Agreeableness, 43.
Well, you're not very agreeable.
Compassion, 48.
I actually don't think you're that agreeable. Which
Yes, I am.
I mean, that's one of my lower ones is agreeableness too.
Yeah.
And as a woman, it's normal to be in the range that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's the lower of all the other ones, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy. I'm looking at my list here.
I know, I'm kidding. Politeness, politeness is 38. Conscientiousness, 11.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a little low. I think
that's probably a little low.
Yeah, I don't think I would test it that.
We have been successfully doing this. I can tell you, I've met people who are not conscientious enough to have been doing this with me because I'm like, I'm here. I'm always here. I'll always be here. I'm always here.
Ready. Yep. No,
I said Tuesday at 6. I'll be here.
Be there. Yep. Yeah. No. Glory to God.
Me.
Yeah.
And if you weren't conscientious, this would never have worked out.
Right.
So that can't be exactly right.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I also, this one, industrious, is like 6. I think that's very low. I think I was being very hard on myself, honestly.
Probably. You
Orderliness.
are hard on yourself.
Yes, that's true. Orderliness is 30, and I would say that's accurate. Because it's people moderately low in orderliness are neither disturbed nor disgusted by mess and chaos. That's true. They tend simply to just not notice such things. That's true. Unless I go in a bathroom, interestingly, if I like it, bathrooms that are gross, that triggers my conscientiousness and I will clean it. Like it's like that bothers me.
Yeah.
Okay. Extroversion high, 86 on the extroversion. That's I don't have a problem getting along with people or meeting people or talking to people. That's good. Enthusiasm moderately high. I have a 64 there. Assertiveness 92.
Yeah, that's me. Same.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that's why we get each other.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That and then the high and openness for sure.
Yeah.
Neuroticism 50. I'm just average neurotic.
Yep.
Withdrawal 52.
What is that anyway? Withdrawal.
Withdrawal. Individuals average in withdrawal may occasionally suffer from anticipatory anxiety, but are generally not impeded by it. They can handle new, uncertain, unexpected, threatening, or complex situations quite well. They are not more likely to avoid or withdraw in the face of the unknown and unexpected.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So,
mm-hmm.
Volatility is 48.
Good. I like it.
Openness exceptionally high. I had a 96.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my personal belief is that this is what like people who hang out in TLC over a long period of time are naturally high in openness. I would guess. You have to be to hang around because there's a pretty broad spectrum of people.
Yeah.
In the TLC. Okay. Yeah. Intellect is 96. Aesthetics is 87. That's it. That's my test.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I think I was being a little hard on myself with my conscientiousness and industriousness. I'm definitely
not
that low anymore.
Do the test.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Open and volatile, Luke Thompson. Yeah, there you go.
I don't think Jeremy is open and volatile, actually. Your volatility was low, right?
That was medium. It's like 48.
Yeah, that's low, especially for a man.
Yeah.
I'm 68th. I'm more volatile than you are.
Why will you believe that?
Huh?
You're Canadian. Liable to lead to sudden change or violence, a volatile situation with troops and rioters eager for a confrontation. A substance that changes readily from solid or liquid to a vapor. Volatile.
Yeah. Well, I have to concur with that. Like, it takes a lot to get me there, but boy.
Yeah, I can.
The lid kind of blows off the can.
I have to say, I pray for the forgiveness and patience of my coworkers, and because there have been a couple of recent incidents where it's just like little things spiral me out. I think I don't do well with the time pressure when I don't have full control over the project. So when I'm like group projects and I'm waiting on somebody else, and then there's a deadline coming, that's really hard for me to be. That's when the volatility comes out. Let's put it that way. That's what definitely raises the temperature internally. So I've been trying to work on that, just not worry about the deadline so much. So,
I mean, I'm just thinking back to times where things got volatile, and it's mostly suffering and injustice that makes me blow my lid. I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always thought of it because of my positioning as a sibling. I was the oldest, and I had this little, my little sister and my two little brothers, and I was always like defending, right?
Yeah.
And so certain things would make me really, really, like, if unfairness was just like off the charts, just off the charts.
See, and that's where I always got into the argument over what fairness is, right? Like, that's not an easy question. I've been wrestling with that my whole life, right? Like, what is fairness? It's not easy to answer that question for me anyway.
Well, my idea of fairness, it had to be pretty obvious. Like, if a kid in grade 6 beats up a kid in grade 3, sorry, that's not fairness.
Right.
Unless the kid in grade 3 is 6 feet tall and the kid in grade 6 is,
I hear that. Right. Yeah.
But,
I hear that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember launching after some kid when I was in grade 1 and grabbing him from behind around the neck because he was telling a kindergartner that there was no such thing as Santa Claus.
Yeah. I see.
It was that kind of
I
stuff.
see. You were the Catcher in the Rye kind of mindset. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, really? Catcher in
Have
the
you read
Rye?
that book,
I
Catcher in the Rye?
did, but I hated it. I
Yeah,
clearly remember.
but he was just upset that the world was no longer like, the world is like it was like his coming of age. He's realizing he's no longer innocent, and he's seeing how the world is not innocent, but it's because he's becoming an adult and it's being revealed to him, and it makes him very upset. Like the Catcher in the Rye was the one who's trying to catch, like the way he used it was like catching the bodies coming through the rye, but it was like trying to catch the kids and keep them from going into the world. Basically, it was like this idea of like trying to protect the innocence of children as long as possible. And
I don't know why I never caught that. I mean, it was a must read in high school.
Yeah.
And I found it so ugly somehow. There's something ugly about that book.
Yep.
It made me mad.
Yeah.
And it's precisely because it felt like it was ruining my innocence.
Yes.
And
I think it's not good that they make high schoolers read that book.
No, and I remember like I had to get it finished, so I sat there for like 3 hours and I was reading it and I was just fuming. And when I closed it, I just threw it across the room, and we were in our living room, and it landed in our fireplace, and there was a fire. And it was it was a book that we had to borrow, right, from the teacher gave us all the book, and I ripped it out of there, but it was all singed. And then when I handed my book in, we were all walking into the English room, and I just slammed it on his desk with the pile as it grew, and he goes, "What happened here?" I said, "Oh, it made me so mad. I threw it in the fire, okay, by accident." He goes, "Perfect."
Yeah. Isn't it good that it provokes response? No, I don't agree. I don't agree that everything that provokes a response in me is good. I just don't. No, not at all.
No, you shouldn't be, well.
Someone who's provocative and annoying is not good.
Yeah. And
necessarily. They can be. We have the fools for Christ, right? But like being provocative is not enough to be good in my opinion.
Provoking response could also be reactionary. Okay.
Yes.
That's not great. Reaction, because it's in the word itself, it's a reaction. Okay. It's not your original action. It's your reaction to something. And that's usually happens without thinking.
Yeah. No, I just found it. I don't know. It's just like,
Catcher in the Rye?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I actually went through this because I had to read The Bell Jar all in the same year, grade 12 English. I had to read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, of all people. She killed herself, for God's sakes.
Right.
Catcher in the Rye. What else was there? I don't know. It was all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
go ahead. Great Gatsby.
Didn't read that one.
We had to read that one in high school.
I'm trying to think what else. But it was like, I remember saying to the teacher, "This should be illegal, what you're doing to us here."
That's right. I agree with you.
Because it felt like nihilism on a platter.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And I didn't know the words for it at the time, but all I kept saying is, this is so depressing.
Yeah.
You're kind of embarking. You're finishing, it's your last year of school. You feel like you're invincible because you're a kid, a teenager. Right. And then it's just like this hammer comes down and says, the bell jar, right?
Anything.
Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just behind the glass, and nobody can see you and nobody understands you. And, it just plays on all of the horrible fears that teenagers have, the alienation that they already feel, because they're morphing into adults. Okay.
Right. They're in between. It's a liminal space, right?
Liminal space. Yeah. And so it's just terrible. I just thought it was evil. That's what I thought. And so part of that, of absorbing all that literature over the full year, because it was one book after freaking another. I just threw Catcher in the Rye in the fire. I was like, you're trying to ruin my life here.
There's an interesting paragraph in the Wikipedia. Let me show you this. Violent reactions. This is with regard to Catcher in the Rye. So, speaking of reactions, several shootings have been associated with Salinger's novel, including Robert John Bardo's murder of Rebecca Schaeffer and John Hinckley Jr.'s assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
Additionally, after fatally shooting John Lennon, Mark David Chapman was arrested with a copy of the book that he had purchased that same day, inside of which he had written to Holden Caulfield from Holden Caulfield, "This is my statement." Commenting on the fascination of Hinckley and Chapman, Harvey Solomon Brady wrote, "Compared to books lauded by other killers, George Orwell's 1984 by John F. Kennedy's assassin Lee Harvey Oswald, C.S. Lewis's Meditations on Christianity by Johnny Versace's murderer Andrew Cunanan, and Joseph Conrad's The Secret Agent by Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, The Catcher in the Rye stands out in its devastating ability to influence without explicit instruction."
Yes. See, I knew it in my soul that book was horrible. Just horrible.
So how does that differ from Encountering What Is? Because I don't think it is what is. I think it's propaganda. No. I think it's the devil's propaganda, right? It's like the news. Like, the news is not what is. When you're reading the news, you're not encountering what is. You're encountering a very curated, agenda-driven story, right? And I feel the same way about Salinger novels, right? Like Franny and Zoe is like one of the most horrible books I've ever read in my life. I mean, stories.
That was another one, Of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I didn't like that genre.
Are you guys TLC Shakespeare auditioning?
I'm going to. So they want to do Macbeth. I think David Busuttil is heading it up, and so he asked me if I would audition. So I have to read something. Actually, it's a good reminder. I forgot.
Fun. I
just have to read something for it.
Nice. I didn't know about it, so my answer would be no. Let's see. Wait. What is whatever happens to be? No. There are a lot of illusions and delusions, and mostly we're surrounded by those. I think there's very few things that I think there are very few people who see clearly, and very few of us who see them.
That's why we ask people, "Did you see that?"
Yeah,
because we don't believe our eyes. We know we can be deceived.
Yes. But most of the time we forget that, right? Like, I think most of the time we're too confident in what we believe or what we see or what we know, and then we also, and then AI throws a whole different spin into not trusting what you see. But they aren't also is. So I can have an encounter with a person, and that's very different than having an encounter with a book that a person wrote. And the encounter with a book an encounter with a person is real. Every person you meet is real. But most books are very navel gazing, ideological, agenda driven, like diatribes that are just someone channeling an angry spirit or a bitter spirit or an envious spirit, in my opinion, and not like, or it's like their childhood drama spewing out on the page. Obviously there are great works of art.
When did Salinger write Catcher in the Rye?
I think he was a World War II vet. And I think it was right after that.
Oh, well, that makes sense. He was traumatized.
Yeah. 1951. Yep. He wrote it. Partially published in serial form in 45 and 46 before being novelized in 51. So, yeah, he wrote it at the end of World War II.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy,
which is like part of the existentialism movement. This was nihilism. This is what came out of World War II, right? World War II was like nihilism. And so,
no, I'm sorry. I couldn't recount the story of Catcher in the Rye, but whenever I talk about it, I get a knot in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I feel angry because, like I said, did I ever tell you that so I went to middle school for me was 1970s experimental school. So what they did was they had this one class called POD. I don't remember what it stood for, POD. But we set, like, all the grades went into this massive, huge room. Actually, it wasn't all of them. It was not the whole school, but it was mixed grades, 7 and 8. So it was middle school, right? 7 and 8. And we'd sit at these huge round desks, and we would have to, every week, we would be doing the scientific method, Jeremy. So we'd have to think of a project. Then we'd have to make a hypothesis. Then we'd have to prove our hypothesis. And then we'd have to write our thesis. Right? And that was what we did for 3 hours of every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir Francis Bacon is like so excited right now.
Oh, yeah. So I decided to hypothesize that some of the things that our teachers were doing in the classrooms were unfair to the students. And so I organized a school protest. So I had teachers who were going out for smoke breaks during class, right? They'd come back in and they just smelled like cigarettes. Or
sure.
they'd bring cans of Coke and have them on their desk, and they'd be drinking their Coke. And
my gym teacher weighed like close to 400 pounds.
There you go. And so I decided to organize a school protest in the pod room. So there were these separate little rooms that if you needed to go and have some quiet time with your group, you could go in and close the door, and we locked it. Then we wrote up lists of demands, and this was our project for pod.
Nice. Scientific method of the 60s. That's good.
Yeah. And then we plastered them all over the school, and then we locked ourselves in and we did a sit-in in this room. And in the end, it was I'm like, we're touching grass, you guys. Okay, enough of this hypothesis bullshit.
Yeah.
Our project, we're going to change the school.
There you go.
And so we did. We made it. Oh man, the teachers hated me because they couldn't go out for smoke breaks and they couldn't drink Coke in the classroom after that.
That's funny. Nice. Good. Good for you. That's much better scientific method. Well, you learned the real scientific method in our culture, right? Like my dad said this when I was younger. He's like, if you want to change anything at work, just make it a safety issue.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah.
So I just want to address this really quick. Deceptions and illusions are insofar as happening. No.
That sounds like something someone with bipolar disorder or schizophrenia would say.
Same as whatever you personally prefer as real. No. No. I would say, okay, if I am having a delusion or someone else is having a delusion and they're writing it down, I don't want to read it. I don't need to spend time. I'm not need to marinate in their delusion. What am I going to gain from that? I'm only going to become enchanted. I'm going to become distracted.
Depressed and suicidal.
Yeah, depressed, angry,
and if you're suicidal,
bitter.
You're homicidal, which is why people read Salinger and kill other people because they feel suicidal. And when you're suicidal, you're homicidal. If you're going to kill yourself, you can kill anybody after that.
So is that real? Yes. Is it something I want to spend time in? No. There are a lot of real things that I don't want to pursue as well, right? So even if you could make the argument that, their delusions are real or this book is real or the effect it has on people is definitely real. You can ask their victims, right? So, but that doesn't mean it's something we should pursue. It doesn't mean that it's like equal or on equal grounds with something that's holy or something that's sacred, right? There's definitely like tiers. I mean, even within like the Orthodox view of the scriptures is that even the scriptures have a hierarchy where the gospels are the top of the hierarchy, and then come the epistles, and then come Psalms and Proverbs, and then comes the book of Revelation, and then comes the Torah, and then comes the prophets, right? Like, and then comes the Deuterocanon, and then comes the Apocrypha. There's like a layer of hierarchy there, and they're all real, but there are definitely things that are above and things that are higher and lower in the hierarchy, and reading other people's like daydreaming, what's that word, where they just write exactly what comes to mind, like
automatic writing.
Well, maybe not that far, but like there was a phrase that we learned in literature class when I was in high school, but like the consciousness, like state of consciousness, like a flow of consciousness onto the page. Like that's like, I think it's healthy to write that for yourself and then you burn it. I don't think that's the stuff that should be published and read widely by other people. I just don't think it's good. A stream of consciousness. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh,
that's the phrase I was looking for. Stream of consciousness. There's a style of writing like Ulysses is apparently like stream of consciousness.
Well, that's why it ends up being automatic.
Right. But, yes. And then what you're channeling, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say there's lots of questions here, Mr. Bison, but I have to go.
Okay.
It's like 2.5 hours now, Jeremy.
It has been a long time, and I am tired. Who measures? God knows, but I'm trying to learn, and I pray for discernment. And yeah, you can definitely have encounters with dark things that can inspire you to move in the other direction, but I don't think you should pursue dark things in order to understand or explore them, because you can become enamored and then you begin identifying with them, and that's the danger, right?
And I would just say, just test the spirits and make sure you have a solid prayer life.
That's it.
Yep. That's what I would say.
Yep. Standing in divine liturgy for long enough, you start to be healed.
Right.
And then you have a spiritual father who can help you when you bring these ideas or these thoughts to him. He's telling you most of the time, just ignore that. Don't worry about that. What about dinosaurs? He's like, don't worry about that. What about the news? He's like, don't worry about that. Like, what about the? He's just like, don't worry about that. Like, you just don't need to worry about that.
When you were a little kid and it was bedtime, and you're like, well, what about the man in the closet? What about the guy under the bed?
Yeah. I mean, really, that's why you need a spirit. That's why you need a spiritual father. To be honest with you, that's the answer to your question.
Yeah.
When you don't know and you say, should I read this book by a saint or should I read Ulysses by James Joyce? I'm just telling you, I have a pretty good idea of what your priest is going to tell you. Now, that's not to say there are some priests who have their catechumens read Charles Dickens first. They read David Copperfield. They read Homer. They read the Iliad. Because those things train your mind to see truth and beauty. Because we're so broken now that we don't see it. And so there's definitely like an entry point for some people. Right, it's way easier for some people to recognize it in Bach or Mozart than it is in Byzantine chant. And so, if that's your entry point for beauty, then glory to God, right? But I don't think Catcher in the Rye is an entry point to training your mind to see truth and beauty, personally. But
I would just be almost guaranteed that if it was on the school curriculum in the 1970s, it wasn't good for you. Okay.
Right. Yeah, same with like Lord of the Flies, which is a complete like
that
fabrication.
One too.
Those are complete
just
lie,
horrible crap that they jam down our throats.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
But anyway, on that note, I would just like to say thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Bibliotheker Bison.
Yes, we welcome your input and your questions.
Yeah.
And we pray that we're not it's surprising when Christ uses. Yeah, well, I pray that he doesn't need to resort to using Catcher in the Rye to wake us up, but maybe he does. Sometimes he does for some people, right? Like, you're right. We don't know, but I'm just. It's easier to find. Like, if you just focus on books that have Saint in the author's name, you're going to be in pretty good shape, right? Like that's so. Who judges? That's it. Like. The body of the church when they venerate saints, and then it's ratified by the synod, right? Like,
you know what? If you
that's who judges.
I just want to say this. I want to say this. If you want to read something absolutely life-changing,
there you go.
Read the Helliand.
The Saxon Gospel.
The Saxon Gospel. It has really radically. I'm just going to start reading it over and over again.
It's beautiful
because.
God bless you as well. We're grateful for you here. And this is part of maybe me being disagreeable or volatile, but I come from a background of nihilism and wandering around in dark places, and I paid a deep price for it, and so did my family. And so if there are people asking those questions, I will vociferously disagree or vociferously express that seeking Photini, seeking the light, and seeking holiness, and seeking
Amen.
peace, and seeking silence is a worthy pursuit, and it will bring much better fruit into your life than seeking to understand the dark arts.
Or just the meaninglessness of this, like if you're going to focus on the meaninglessness of this life, the problem with that whole genre, like the Bell Jar, and in my opinion, Salinger, and Lord of the Flies, and all of that stuff. It just, the Christian way of seeing death, because that's what those books are about. They're about something dying, something beautiful dying, actually. Is that's the end of the story for those people. But for Christianity, it's how death is conquered.
Right.
Death tramples death. And then what comes after that? Resurrection.
Right.
And there's just nothing like that in these stories. There's no resurrection story in those stories, and it leaves you feeling hopeless and despairing and helpless, and that's demonic. You shouldn't feel like that as a Christian. You shouldn't feel like that as a human being. Yeah. And if something feeds you and gives you life, then read it. John O'Donohue. I read John O'Donohue. I read Rilke because they give me life. That's what I want. I don't want death without being able to trample it.
Amen.
That's the privilege I have, is that Christ showed me that. Showed me how to do it. And on that note, good night, all.
Yes. Yeah, we got to go. Thanks for joining us. If you listened live, God bless you. If you're listening to us later, God bless you. We're grateful you're here. We're grateful for your audience and for your time. We're grateful for your attention. We hope that we're not speaking too many words, and that God is working with you through our too many words. So thank you for your patience with us. God bless you. Glory to God. Bibliotech Arbison. Or Bison. We have bisons where I live, so that's what I think your name is. So right. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your patience with us as well. Thanks for your prayers. Have a good night.
Good night.